Step into the Gilded Age, a time of booming industry and staggering inequality. In the heart of Brooklyn, 1899, a boy named Alphonse Capone is born to Italian immigrants. Who could have known this child would grow up to become America's most infamous gangster, a name synonymous with the Roaring Twenties and the dark side of the American dream? Today, we're going beyond the fedora and the Thompson submachine gun to uncover the real story of Al Capone. His story begins not with crime, but with struggle. Young Al was a bright, promising student, but the tough streets of Brooklyn were a classroom of a different kind. A violent confrontation with a teacher at age 14 marked the end of his formal education, and the beginning of his tutelage under Johnny Torrio, a sophisticated gangster who saw potential in the tough, ambitious young man. This wasn't just a job, it was an apprenticeship in the art of the underworld. The early 1920s brought a pivotal moment in American history: Prohibition. The nationwide ban on alcohol was meant to curb societal ills, but instead it uncorked a golden opportunity for organized crime. Johnny Torrio, now a major player in Chicago, summoned Capone to join him. Chicago wasn't just another city, it was a frontier, a chaotic landscape of corrupt officials, rival gangs, and an unquenchable thirst for illegal booze. For Capone, it was the perfect stage to build an empire. He wasn't just a thug. Capone was a brilliant, if ruthless, businessman. He quickly rose through the ranks, applying principles of modern business to the illegal liquor trade. He organized supply chains, managed distribution networks, and established speakeasies that catered to everyone, from factory workers to the city's elite. Under his watch, the Chicago Outfit became a multi-million-dollar enterprise, a shadow corporation that controlled the city's vices through a combination of bribery, intimidation, and sheer force. While the city's underground trembled at his name, the public saw a different Al Capone. He was a charismatic figure, always dressed in the finest suits, flashing a wide smile for the cameras. He cultivated a Robin Hood persona, opening soup kitchens during the Great Depression to feed the unemployed, handing out cash on the streets, and ensuring his neighborhood was taken care of. This masterful public relations campaign made him a folk hero to some, a man who provided what the government had forbidden and cared for the people the system had forgotten. He was both a purveyor of vice and a provider of charity, a complex duality that fascinated and terrified the nation. But behind the charming facade was a brutal reality. Capone's empire was built on violence. The competition for control of Chicago's bootlegging industry was fierce, leading to bloody turf wars. The most infamous of these conflicts was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929. 7 members of the rival North Side gang were lined up against a garage wall and ruthlessly gunned down by men disguised as police officers. While Capone was conveniently in Florida, the meticulously planned execution had his signature all over it. The event shocked the nation and solidified Capone's reputation as a merciless tyrant. The public's love affair with Scarface began to sour. The massacre turned Capone into public enemy number 1. The federal government, embarrassed by his impunity, was determined to bring him down. But here's the twist. They couldn't pin any of the violent crimes on him. He was too smart, always insulated by layers of underlings. So they decided to follow the money, a quiet, determined Treasury agent named Elliot Ness. And his team, famously known as the Untouchables, relentlessly pursued Capone's financial trail. While their raids on his breweries were a thorn in his side, the real breakthrough came from a forensic accounting investigation. In 1931, the U.S. government finally got him, not for murder or racketeering, but for tax evasion. The man who made millions a year hadn't filed a tax return. It was an ironic, almost anticlimactic end to his reign of terror. He was convicted and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. He first went to Atlanta but was soon transferred to the newly opened maximum security prison on Alcatraz Island. In Alcatraz, Al Capone was no longer a kingpin. He was just prisoner number 85. Stripped of his power, his fine clothes, and his influence, his health rapidly deteriorated. Years of a hard lifestyle and an untreated case of syphilis took their toll, leading to a severe decline in his mental and physical state. By the time he was released in 1939, he was a shadow of his former self, the mind of a powerful crime lord reduced to that of a child. Al Capone spent his final years in seclusion at his Palm Island estate in Florida, surrounded by family, his mind lost to the past. He passed away in 1947 at the age of 48. His life was a dramatic saga of ambition, power, and ultimate downfall. He was a product of his time, a man who exploited the system's flaws to build an empire, only to be brought down by the very same system. The story of Al Capone serves as a powerful reminder of the complex, often contradictory nature of the American dream, and how a charismatic smile can hide the darkest of intentions. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the life of Al Capone. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical exploration. We'll see you in the next video.